Is local SEO worth doing, or is it a waste of time? I'm going to look at local SEO today and see 3 things in particular that are going to help to really grow your business and at the same time give you real traction. So these are the 3 things that you'll need in the coming year. I'm Zane from Zanet Design, and I help small businesses grow on the internet, to grow their business and to improve by means of SEO, Google My Business, better design websites, usability, and so on. And today we're going to look at 3 things that are going to help to grow your business. And this is probably going to be an important discovery when it comes to local SEO, because some people just say that SEO isn't important at all. I was reading one blogger that recently spent 2 years writing a post every single day. So he must have had over about 700 odd posts on his blog. And he had over 1 million visitors at one point. Why? Well, because he claims that SEO doesn't need to be done. That if you just write decent articles, that would be enough. And maybe he has a point that with that type of intent and not worrying about keyword research, he got tremendous traction because in the end, after so many, 700 articles, then he kind of obviously triggered things that helped him get traction. But most people don't have the ability to do that. So SEO has its place, and we're going to see really 3 things that can be done that will help your business grow. And the first one is communication. You might think communication, that's not SEO, or SEO, of course, is search engine optimization. But actually communication is part of SEO. And the reason it's part of SEO is that if you can't communicate what you do to your potential customer, then no matter what optimization you're doing elsewhere, you haven't optimized in the ability to help them to see why you can help their business. So communication is the way in which really websites are really particularly trying to help customers come to them because they understand them. And of course, communication is a 2-way situation. Feeling and understanding what your customer wants is essential if you're going to be working with them. So communication in a website in itself is part of your search engine optimization. So when we talk about communication, what types of things can you do then that would help optimize your business? Well, we could first of all consider adding a chatbot. So these chatbots, there's all sorts of ones that you can add to your website. And what it means is that when someone visits your website, maybe after 30 seconds, a chat thing comes up where they can then communicate. And it works by then communicating with you on your mobile. So through an app, you then see a person has a question or is interested to know whether you offer a particular service. Google My Business has a kind of chatbot situation there as well through the request to quote. So you'll notice in this year in particular, 2020, a lot of people are going to be using things like chatbots to interact with their potential clients. And in that way, then it just builds again an integrity there that people are going to come back to when they know that you're there and you can rely on them. But on top of that, there's also things like videos. So videos are going to grow in 2020 as a way of communication. There's also the ability to just invite someone for a coffee. So when you're doing local SEO, because they're local to you, then you can just arrange to go to a coffee shop, to meet up, to discuss perhaps what their business needs. And in that way, then when they see you one-to-one as a real person, that again will help build trust. And finally, things like rich snippets as well. So you've seen Google suggest that, do you want to know how to do this? Or do you want to know how to do that? FAQs, all these little extra snippets that you get now in Google's search engine results. Your website can have those and you'll find it gives you a tremendous amount of extra traffic, particularly if you're hitting the top 10. So we've got a video on that as well. So hopefully you'll see that communication is my number 1 tip so far for 2020 to help you grow as a local business. And yet, as we said, it doesn't sound like it's a search engine optimization term, but believe me, it will have a big impact in the coming next few years. So for my second one, no surprise, but Google My Business. Google My Business is really going to help you grow your business. And of course, it is very much part of probably the most important local SEO that you can do. How does it work? Well, basically, people for the last 5 or 6 years now have been telling Google on Google Maps where businesses are. They take photos of the business, they get points for taking photos, points for being a local guide, saying there's a restaurant here, these are the types of dishes it does, this is my rating. And those things have been building up for quite a few years. But what's interesting is probably about half the businesses down your high street haven't claimed their business yet. Their business exists on Google My Business, but their business hasn't been claimed yet. So that means that your business at the moment is basically existing based on what other people have said about it. So my advice would be, if you haven't done so and you want to improve your local SEO, then you need to claim your business. It's pretty straightforward. You go to Google My Business or you go to the Google Maps, you find that if your business is listed on the address where it should be, and then you then will see a little button that says claim this business, and you fill that out. That will send you a postcard. You then show that that's authentic, where the address is, and you're the business owner, and then you can then start to really get to grips with how you optimize your Google My Business. And if you want to know anything about that, then you'll probably, if you're familiar with my videos, you'll see that that's one of the things I specialize in, is helping local businesses for free to grow their business and to really improve in how they're seen locally. So I'll leave a video for you to look at for beginners that will help you to get off the ground with that if you haven't done so already. So the third area I'm going to cover is that of branding. So we've seen communication, we've seen Google My Business, and now we see branding. So this is a very different type of local SEO to what you may have expected. But out of all fairness, these things are what are having the greatest impact today. And with branding, you'll notice that Google's analytics now, they break down things not just into organic or people searching for you in various ways or even advertising, but it now specifically says who is searching for your business by its business name, which is branding. So if someone's looking for me, they might type into the search engine Zanet or Zanet Design or Zanet Design Limited, and there my business comes up. But Google sees that as a signal that my strength of my branding is beginning to be accepted on a local basis. So if you think of your high street, if someone says, where can I buy some milk? You'll think of Tesco's or Sainsbury's. You'll think of perhaps stores that people locally are familiar with as well. That's branding. But branding years ago was just a case of having a name and having a logo and maybe a shop sign. But today, for businesses now, local businesses can exist with so many extra things to strengthen the branding. So it's not just about having a good logo and having the right colours, but also you have leaflets, you have business cards, you have a Google My Business presence, you have a website, you have maybe a van wrap around your local van, so as you drive down the high street, people see it. Maybe you have logos on your t-shirts. Maybe you have things you send to your customers that have your branding on. In fact, branding has become massive in the last few years as people can now affordably have their own branding for their own company and business. So have you considered rebranding, or have you considered getting your branding consistent? Because sometimes you take on another business and you've got two types of branding. And even though you may try and bring them under one umbrella, often it just looks a bit tacky. So your branding speaks volumes. People can talk about your business based on how strong your branding is. And branding is not just the logo. I've got a video all about branding and how to expect it to change in the coming year or two. So I'll leave the video for you to have a look at now. But there are my 3 best local SEO tips. Not what you're going to expect. Very different, but that's how things are changing. And so look out for the fact that when you next look at your analytics, look out for that section that speaks about how your branding is being perceived by Google too. And that will certainly grow in the coming years ahead. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll leave a couple of extra videos that you'll need to look at if you want to grow your branding in the next few years.